So I know I am blocking the title here, but we're playing Merry Crisis. So we played this demo back in November or December 2025, last year, for the Choose Wisely Fest. And it was a short demo, but I remember really enjoying it. I remember the overall gist of the demo. I think I'm missing like certain specific aspects, and I'm sure as we play, I'll start to remember things. Something that I do remember really liking, though, is the fact that you can choose the presenting gender of each of the love interests. So I think we did, the roommate was femme presenting, the childhood love was male presenting, and the neighbor was femme presenting. Player setup. Your character is a woman. For flashback scenes, your character was born female. There are 3 romanceable characters in the game, all of them gender selectable. You know what? Why don't we do a random... let's do a random selection. Actually, I kind of like this. Let's do random. Maybe we'll get... at least one of them is different. Content warning, this game may explore themes of racial prejudice, homophobia, family conflict, and transphobia, depending on the playable character's identity and choices. Display in-game content warnings. Prologue, The Arrival. The 22nd of December. You sprint down the street. There's been an early sprinkling of snow 2 days ago, and the streets are still slippery with patches of black ice. It's absolute madness to be running full tilt the way you are, but nobody bats an eye. You've lived here long enough to know that New York City is full of people who are late to something or another. In your case, your flight to Singapore, it's Singapore, is in less than 4 hours, and you still need to grab your stuff from the apartment. That's my bad. I got that wrong. Run like your life's on the line. You're exaggerating, but not by much. Your mother would probably murder you for missing Christmas dinner. She's already mad enough that you're visiting for only a week. You're still charging down the street when disaster strikes. Your foot hits a patch of ice and you flail frantically in the blind hope of catching a railing. Whoa! Fortunately. Okay, so we got the same roommate. Fortunately, someone catches your arm before you faceplant into the sidewalk. It's Nat, your housemate. I know you're excited to come home to me, but running on these streets is not a good idea. Liz barks and wags her tail, beaming at you, but Kehoe gives you a stern look, as though in reproach. Always pet the dogs. You technically have no time to spare, but you've never been able to resist these two. You toss a toy bone for Liz, then give Kehoe a pat. Hi, Howl! Liz scampers off happily in search of the bone, and Kehoe gives you an imperious bark of satisfaction. Nat watches you, gaze lingering, expression hovering somewhere between fond and sad, and something you still don't have a name for. Even now, her voice carries a warmth you've spent the past few weeks trying to forget. 4 weeks ago. The breakup had been amicable, mature. You'd both simply been moving in opposite directions, or so Nat had put it anyway. You stand in the kitchen of your shared apartment, reeling from all that had been said and left unsaid. The radiator hisses unevenly in the corner. Working overtime to fill the silence, a half-drunk mug of tea sits between you, long since gone cold. You'd sensed that Nat hadn't been happy for a while, but you hadn't realized that it had gotten this bad. Breakup bad. Are you even happy? With me? What should we choose? I don't remember what I chose last time. Let's say deep down I know I haven't been happy. If you're honest with yourself, you haven't been happy for a while now. For the past few months, you've been pushing your doubts and concerns under the rug, assuming that they were all things you could fix later. Nat reaches over and takes your hand in hers, smooth and warm and big-knuckled. It's a gesture that's so familiar it makes your heart ache. I love you, but we can't keep going on like this. Something sharp and desperate claws at your throat. Nod silently. I know a dead end when I see one. As much as you wish things had worked out between you, you've lived long enough to know that sometimes things just don't go the way you want them to. You knew a dead end when you see one. You know a dead end when you see one. The two of you stare at each other from across the table. The silence stretches between you. Part of you wants to cling on, but was there anything left to save? A week passes. The 3rd of December. You're still living with Nat in the same tiny apartment. You've already packed your things into neatly labeled boxes, and you've been scouring websites for apartments to rent, but New York City rent is sky high. As a late 20-something-year-old without much savings to your name, there just aren't many options. Try my best to move on. You pack your feelings away and seal it up along with the rest of your belongings. 6 boxes to contain half of the life you'd once shared. You remind yourself that this is for the best, that this is what Nat wanted. A car honks loudly. The sound of traffic transports you back to the cold street. Breath fogging in the December air. It's beginning to snow properly now. Tiny snowflakes settle in Nat's hair, on the shoulders of her jacket. Reflectively, I lean in to brush them off. Step back, establishing distance. Oh, that's so awkward! No, I'm gonna brush them off. No. This situation is just really awkward. I'm just gonna establish distance. You step back, putting enough distance between you and Nat to hopefully prevent yourself from doing anything rash. Doesn't, however, stop the small pang in your heart from building to a dull ache. You can't help thinking of all the winter days you'd spent together, making angels in fresh snow and sipping hot chocolate by a window. You push the memories away. You're no longer 21, in love and full of hope for the future. The space between you seems to crackle, but the silence is a thick layer of hard-packed ice. Does that mean they were together for, like, years? Right? I mean, they were living together at this point. It's Nat who breaks the silence. When did your flight leave? 3.5 hours? With a change of expression worthy of an 80s sitcom, all the color bleeds out of Nat's face. Shit, need a lift? At your hesitation, Nat waves a hand. It's no problem. What's the point of a holiday if you can't even use it to save a... Nat falters a little at this, but soldiers on. A housemate in the time of crisis? The hesitation when Nat said housemate makes your heart constrict. I don't remember what we chose last time. You know what? Grateful hug. I pull Nat into a hug. Nat lets out a small sound of surprise, but a second later relaxes into your arms. You breathe deeply, inhaling the familiar scent of Nat. For a moment, you can almost pretend that nothing has changed between you. The thought brings a warm sting to your eyes, and you step back, blinking quickly. Thanks, Nat. I really appreciate it. Nat's expression is gentle, but you catch a flicker of something you can't quite decipher. En route to JFK. Nat's one of the few New Yorkers you know who owns a set of wheels. You've spent countless weekends exploring the small town along the Hudson River, hiking in the nearby Catskills, going on road trips. You'd been driving through a blizzard to Quebec since singing, wow, I'm struggling to read tonight, singing terrible pop songs at the top of your lungs when you first realized how in love with Nat you were. At the next stop sign, Nat turns to glance at you. Well, what do you say when your family asks what you're still doing in New York? You'd expected to return to Singapore after college, but you'd started dating Nat in senior year, so you'd found a way to stay a little longer. 1 year led to the next, and before you knew it, you'd spent nearly 3 years in New York after graduating. Even without Nat, New York's starting to feel like home. Let out a long exhale and look out the window on your side of the car. Singapore's where you grew up, but it never quite felt like a life you'd chosen. In New York, with a million other transplants to the city, you feel a little lighter, free from expectations of what you should do, whom you should be. Nat had never pushed you to settle in New York for good, but you'd been considering it. At first, you'd stay in New York because Nat was there. But as time passed, you've come to think of New York as home too. A part of you still wants to stay in the city, even though there are pieces of Nat everywhere in New York. Restaurants and bodegas and parks and street corner markets that remind you of her. But perhaps you could reclaim each piece of this city if you had to. I've built a life here too. Nat stares at you for a long time, curiosity mixed in with the pain. It'll be nice to still have you in the same city. The traffic light turns green again finally, and Nat starts the car up again. Nat slides into a spot at the airport drop-off area. See you when you get back? Can't help but think about all the times Nat had driven you to the airport, kissed you goodbye, and told you how much she'd miss you while you were gone. How many things had you done together without knowing it would be the last time? A crooked smile tugs at the corner of Nat's lips. Yeah, enjoy your week home. One very long flight later. 24th of December. You wheel your luggage into the lift of your public housing block. The doors are about to clang shut when someone dashes toward you at full speed. Oh god, poke at the alarm button in blind panic. I want to do that. You hit the wrong button. A shrill, high-pitched wail goes off. You hurriedly take your finger away, but the lift doors continue to close. While you're panicking, the lift doors clang shut around the boot. Oh! We got her again. Finally, the alarm stops, and the person who'd been running for the lift strolls in, grinning at you. Wow, alerting the block that I'm stealing your lift? I was trying to help, I swear. In my defense, you look like the sort one shouldn't share a lift with. Grunt, meant to press door open. I was trying to help, I swear. The woman lets out a low, musical laugh, dark eyes dancing with amusement. Thanks, I guess. She reaches out to press the button for the 11th floor, the one you live on. You put two and two together. This must be Shay, your neighbor's new tenant, the one your mother complains about in every phone call, the company she brings home, the late-night jamming sessions with her bandmates, the muddy mountain bike track she leaves in the corridor. You study the woman in greater detail as the lift starts trundling upward. She's wearing ripped black jeans and a sleeveless red tee, which shows off strong shoulders, defined muscles, and tan, sun-kissed skin. There's a guitar case slung over her shoulder. When you return your gaze to the woman's eyes, you realize you've been caught staring. She winks at you. Like what you see? Her voice is low and playfully flirtatious, and you can definitely see why your mother disapproves. Do you happen to flirt with everyone you meet in the lift? Only when they're as cute as you are. Oh. You laugh and Shay's dimples flash. It's nice to finally meet you. Your mother talks about you all the time. The one that got away. She watches way too many K-dramas. I'm not even sure she realized it's supposed to refer to failed romances. Your conversation is interrupted by a loud ding as the lift arrives on your floor. You step out of the lift into the corridor after Shay. You'd spent countless afternoons kicking a ball back and forth along this very corridor with your brother. You catalog the changes since the last time you've been back home for Lunar New Year. It's been more than 8 months since then, which, much to your mother's disapproval. For one, there's a new row of thriving plants extending from your parents' unit to the one next door. Shay smiles at you and gestures down the corridor. Want to be introduced to the fam? You blink. A split second later, you realize that she's referring to her plants. Why not? Shay introduces each plant to you in loving detail. The finicky orchid, the indestructible ZZ plant, and the drama queen fiddle leaf fig. Finally, Shay waves at your family's sad bougainvillea. Did I say that right? That has been neglected for years. Hey, maybe you could give this poor soul some TLC while you're here. I'm only here for a week. Oh. Shay's face falls slightly, but she quickly recovers. We'll make it count. See you around, neighbor. You continue on your way down the corridor to your unit. I'm home! Your mother rushes out of the kitchen to smack you in the arm. Ow! What? Why? You should have come back a week earlier. Stayed a week longer. 1 week? Pathetic. Not even enough time to binge watch a K-drama. A second later, she pulls you into a brief hug. She's never been a particularly physically affectionate person, but she does hug you each time you come back home to visit. You return the embrace. In your arm, she feels smaller, thinner than you remember. Your dad comes running out from his room at the commotion. He, on the other hand, has grown a belly. There you are! Should have let us pick you up from the airport. No need to waste money on a taxi. He waves a hand at the containers on the table, beaming proudly. The bow. Oh my god! I forgot how to pronounce all these things. The dev provided pronunciation guides the first time I played this, and I completely forgot to look it up again. The bao from your favorite stall at Red Hill Market. Definitely not gonna get it right because there's very specific inflections that I don't remember what they were. Your mother frowns accusatorily at you, taking in your ravenous expression. Sometimes I think you come back for the food more than for us. Your dad shrugs. I'm happy as long as something works as bait. Cute. Where's Dee? He's out hanging out with a friend. Again, on Christmas Eve. She makes apostrophe marks with her fingers at the word friend, and shares a meaningful glance with your father. Take this with a pinch of salt. Your mother has a habit of simply assuming things that she'd like to believe, and yet she has done the opposite with Nat, continuing to refer to her as a flatmate months after you told them about your relationship. Oh. You suppose that for them, it was just easier than confronting the fact that you were dating a Black American instead of a Chinese Singaporean of the wrong gender, too. Before you can sink further into these thoughts, the front door swings open violently. Your younger brother tosses his socks and bag by the gate and sashays to the house. Hello! Something smells amazing! Can I have some? Your mother rolls her eyes and mutters something about bottomless stomachs, but waves everyone over to the dining room. Elbow my brother, smirking. Mom thinks you were on a date. Your mom glares at you, betrayed, but your brother only laughs. Your mother's eyes light up with hope. So it's true? I can neither confirm nor deny. Your brother plonks down in the seat next to you. Every time I see you, you look even older than I remember. That's exactly how aging works, genius. Sucks to be you. At least I'm not the one getting dumber every year. Two of you grin at each other. You'd never admit it out loud, but it's good to see him. For the first couple of minutes, there's only the sound of utensils scraping as all four of you practically inhale the food. It's truly the best thing you've tasted in weeks, maybe months. After the feeding frenzy has died down, conversation resumes. So, how have you been? Tell my family about my life in New York. You tell them about your job, a new hole-in-the-wall Chinese restaurant you discovered, and the latest dating disaster that has befallen Kenny, the son of a family friend. It's almost as though you'd never left. Once you've warmed up a little, you start talking more about yourself and how you've been. You talk about the record deal that you'd gotten, how they'd given the green light on your draft album, which is still on track for a release in spring next year. Wait, we're a musician? Wait, we're a musician? Your parents have never been too keen on you making music for a living, but at this, your mother slips you a small smile. Your father has been karaokeing to your YouTube channel. Stop. That's fucking adorable. That's precious. It's good, very catchy. Your brother smirks. He sings so loud the neighbors know it now. Eventually, the conversation turns to Nat, and even though you had intended to tell them about the breakup, you can't bring yourself to in the end. Soon, the food has been polished off. After lunch. You're in the kitchen with your mother, helping to clear up. When you were younger, you'd resented the fact that your mother never really expected your brother and father to help with most of the cooking or cleaning. But it's for that reason that the kitchen had been one of the few quiet, intimate places that you shared with your mother, a sanctum of sorts. She's always been most comfortable talking to you about difficult topics amidst the cooking fumes and the sound of sizzling oil. Today, standing side by side at the sink, you can't help but feel a bit of that old closeness. You know, your father... She stops abruptly and waves her hand at you dismissively, changing tacks. Well, we're both not getting any younger. She's been saying this for years in an attempt to guilt trip you into returning home, but this time her tone makes you think that there might be more to it than she's letting on. Just as you're about to ask her what she means, she shakes her head and turns away. Your mother walks off to tie up the garbage into a plastic bag. When she returns, her expression has softened to a smile. It's good to have you back. I just wish you'd stay longer. You blink. It's classic behavior from her. Something almost tender, bundled up with a jab, and all to distract you from what she'd been about to say earlier. What were you about to say? Your mother shakes her head, as stubborn as you are. Nothing. Nothing. Just tell your father not to eat so much oily fried food, okay? You nod, about to follow up with another question, but your mother clamps her mouth shut, clear sign that it's all she will say on the matter. Right as you head out of the kitchen to throw out the trash, your mom adds tentatively, "So, how are things with you and Nat?" You're not sure whether to be touched or horrified that she's finally recognizing a relationship with Nat now that it's finally over. I don't want to play this where she's not close with her family, you know? Or not trying. Bite my lip. We broke up. Never really been the type to go into detail about your love life with your family, but you do mention Nat from time to time, and she features in your phone calls. The news spills out of you before you can stop yourself. We broke up. Oh no. How come? You sigh, wondering how to summarize all the subtle tides that had, little by little, carried you both into different directions. I guess in the end, it just felt like we didn't really belong in each other's worlds. You brace yourself, waiting for her to say something about how she told you to date a Chinese Singaporean, but she doesn't. In fact, she actually does look sorry for you, even though her tone is gruff. With the internet, there's still such a thing as different worlds, meh? You draw in a long breath, then shrug. Honestly, you're surprised at how your mother's actually trying to talk to you. That's new. The two of you stand wordlessly in the kitchen for a while, until finally you grab the trash bag and head out. Just as you're rounding the corner to the shared rubbish chute, did I just say chute? Shoot, you bump into Shay. She's repotting one of her plants in the corridor, humming a little tune as she works. She pauses and looks up as you walk past. Oh. Okay. Okay, arms. Damn! Okay, arms! She brightens and gives you an enthusiastic wave, nearly flinging a couple clouds of mud at you in the process. You draw a little closer. Are you singing to your plants? After carefully setting the plant into its new pot, Shay straightens and smiles at you. Or to you, if you'd like. To your surprise, Shay actually begins to sing the chorus of the song she'd been humming, her voice oak-timbered and rough-hewn. You roll your eyes, but can't help smiling. All right. Save it for the fiddle leaf fig. I've been meaning to ask for your number. I love that. Sure, but if you piss me off, I'll pass your number to my mom so she can rant at you. Just like that? No dinner date first? Shay lets out a throaty laugh. I'm playing a Christmas gig tomorrow. Wanna come? We just met 5 minutes ago and you want me to spend Christmas with you? Shay winks at you. Great music, drinks on me after. What better way to spend Christmas? Besides, you're the one who wanted a dinner invite. Anyway, no pressure. I'll send you the deets and you can decide later. You nod, mulling it over as you head back into the house. You can already hear your mother in your head, grumbling about bad influences who drag you out to wild late-night parties instead of spending time with family on Christmas. After junior college, equivalent of high school. Okay. After dinner that night, you get a call from Junie, your best friend from junior college. You're back in Singapore, finally! I stare at a picture of you on my phone once every couple months so I don't forget what you look like. You laugh. You've been friends for years, so you know just how dramatic she can be. That's creepy. Also, I literally just video called you a month ago. Still, you've got plenty to update each other about. Eventually, the conversation loops around to the class reunion scheduled for the day after Christmas. By the way, oh, I forgot how to say their name because we don't know what gender we're getting. I really should have looked this up. Hold on. Pause. I'm looking this up. Because that's going to bother me.
Chew.
Chew. Chew. That's how you say it. Okay, Chew. By the way, Chew just confirmed that she's coming to— Oh! We got all women! Okay! Chew just confirmed that she's coming to dinner. Your heart twists. It's been nearly a decade since you'd last seen Chew. Feels as though you'd met each other a lifetime ago. Chew means autumn. By the way. 8 years ago. You're at a party with Junie and her boyfriend Tech. At some point, between the rowdy drinking games and chit-chat, you wander out to the pool alone for a bit of a breather. You get a couple of seconds of blissful solitude before someone else slips out the back door and joins you. Ooh, it's Chew. You've seen her around in school and seen her name on every single dean's list since the dawn of time. You know she's got a reputation of being aloof, but you've never really spoken until today. You did some peace and quiet? You laugh and raise an eyebrow at her pointedly. Yeah, well, not going to get it now. The conversation starts small. School, mutual friends, favorite bands, and somehow the momentum sweeps you both along with it. Chew listens more than she talks, and her attention feels all-encapsulating. Time passes in a hazy blur, thick and vicious, and you keep talking longer than you'd planned to. People occasionally come in and out of the back door, but you barely even notice. For who knows how long, nothing pierces the bubble that forms around you two. Eventually, though, the party begins to empty out, and the few remaining people come streaming out of the house. Suddenly, there's a loud whoop, and the host dives headlong into the pool with a massive splash. A second later, everyone hoots and plunges in after him one by one. Cackling and cheering erupts around you. Alright, it seems the madness is starting. I'm heading home. You? Part of me wants to take Chew in. But Chew doesn't seem that type of person, and I feel like that's too much, you know? Yeah, let's get out of here. The two of you say your goodbyes to the rest, then walk out of the house together. You linger at the front gate. There are no stars, not that you can see anyway, but the sparkle in Chew's eyes is close enough. It seems neither of you want to say goodbye just yet. The motion is so quick you're not sure if you'd imagined it, but you can just about swear you see Chew's eyes dip down to your lips. Okay, chill. That was loud. You gonna kiss me or what? Or do we just go for it? You're gonna kiss me or what? I like that. Your breath hitches as Chew closes the distance between you. One thing had led to another tonight, but you certainly hadn't expected it to lead to this. Damn, can we chill? You're so loud. For no reason. Goodness gracious. The downside to having my windows open. The kiss is bruising. Chew's hands come up to grip your hips and the world swirls all around you. When she finally pulls away, she's breathing hard, eyes still dark with desire. So, how are you getting home? Want to walk together? So you have this hot makeout session and then you're like, I'll walk you home. Damn. You smile, glad that Chew had found a way to make the night last just a little longer. Weeks pass. Oh, this is new! After that, the two of you go back to your separate parallel lives. Occasionally, you'll bump into each other in the hallway between classes, but that kiss slowly fades into memory. Oh. That's awkward. That is until the final year of junior college. As fate would have it, Chew transfers into your class and gets assigned a seat next to you. There is an inescapable intimacy to sitting shoulder to shoulder for hours every day, watching Chew take notes in her absurdly neat handwriting. As the days go by, the two of you begin spending more and more time with each other after class. We're gonna openly flirt. You don't have a name for it yet, but every time her eyes meet yours across the classroom, there's a sharp tug at your gut. You find every opportunity to tease Chew, to make her laugh. Whenever she smiles or blushes, you feel your heart flutter just a little. Even your classmates begin to notice, and it becomes a running joke in your class. When you ask if it's too much, if she'd prefer if you left her alone, Chew flushes right down to her neck. No, it's fine. Oh. From that moment on, you start thinking, hoping that maybe, just maybe, she feels the same way about you. One afternoon, after cheering on your school team at a football match, you're on your way home when you realize you've left your wallet behind. Cursing, you turn back. The storm hits. By the time you locate your wallet face down in a puddle at the edge of the field, you're soaked through. As you bend to pick the wallet up, a shadow comes over you. Okay, wet t-shirt. It's Chew, trying valiantly to hold an umbrella over the two of you. Okay, K-drama moment. The rain's coming at you in great horizontal sheets, and the wind is yanking the umbrella around, despite Chew's best efforts to keep it upright. Thanks, but I'm not sure the umbrella's doing much at this point. I didn't realize you were such a defeatist. By the time you reach a shelter at the bus stop, you're both soaked to the bone and breathing hard from sprint. Oh. Damn. Chew looks down at her drenched clothes, pushes a wet strand of her hair out of her face. The bus stop is deserted. The buses must have just gone by, which means there's a long wait ahead. The rain's loud enough that there's no pressure to talk, but Chew holds your gaze instead of taking out her phone. As you study Chew, you notice that her lips have gone slightly pale and she's shivering slightly. Jesus, you look like you're on the verge of death. I might be. I could huddle close for warmth. Hypothermia in a tropical country. Tomorrow's breaking news. That one's funny. That one is funny. However, I want to flirt. I could huddle close for warmth. Chew blinks and arches an eyebrow. You see a spark of amusement in her eyes. Are you taking advantage of the situation? You grin, stepping closer. Suddenly, her face is only inches from yours. Maybe just a little. Now, Kith! A second later, Chew's leaning in, slow enough for you to pull back if you wanted. Close the distance. Do it! When your lips meet and your hands go up to grip Chew's hips, an involuntary tremor runs through her. You're almost certain it's not from the cold. A second later, a wave of water splashes into the bus stop, hitting the back of your legs. You step back, only to catch a bus trundle away and disappear around the corner. Oh, shit. There goes my bus. A moment later, your bus pulls up. You give Chew a jaunty wave. Chew splutters. What? You're just going to abandon me here after... Chew flounders and doesn't finish a sentence. We're waiting for the next bus. We'll tell Mom that there weren't enough buses running or something. Chew looks surprised when you concede and wave your bus on. You snort, raising an accusing eyebrow at her. Yeah, you would have got on and left me, wouldn't you? Chew laughs, and there's an almost shy look on her face. The two of you chat with each other. Chew's usual sharp wit feels warmer, somehow. Intimate. Her gaze a shade softer than it had been at the pool party. When your buses pull up to the curb again, one right after the other, you're almost sorry it hadn't taken longer to arrive. See you tomorrow. Chew nods, and your heart continues doing loop-de-loops in your chest long after the bus has disappeared around the bend. From that day on, there's no turning back. You fall fast and hard for each other. You see each other every day and spend hours talking on the phone in the middle of the night. Messages exchanged in the margins of literature books, a dozen different ways to type I love you on a graphic calculator. It's so far from the kind of romance you've been told to expect that you hadn't admitted it to yourself until it bludgeoned you on the head. But in hindsight, the sweetness of sinking gently into that relationship will always be tainted by the memory of how things had soured between you. Back to the present. Judy clears her throat, reminding you that she's still on the phone. So, you're coming to the class reunion, right? The thought of seeing Chew again makes my heart twist in complex ways is a very fair response, I think. It'd been years before you'd stopped itching to look her up on social media to see what she was doing. Now, the curiosity resurfaces. Maybe you wouldn't be feeling like this if you'd still been happily in a relationship with Nat. But now, single again, you can't help but let yourself wonder if it would be like what it would be like to see Chew after all these years. Would she be dangerously similar to the person you'd fallen in love with as a teenager? Yay! Junie's exclamation nearly blows out your eardrums. Fortunately, you'd had the foresight to hold your phone an inch away from your ear. Having extracted your promise to attend the reunion, Junie hangs up a little while later. You fall asleep that night with your mind still swirling with memories of a life you thought you'd left behind. Christmas Day. The rest of Christmas unfolds the way it usually does. Hectic, noisy, your extended family asking you too many questions you don't have answers for. Halfway through dinner, you get a message from Nat, accompanied by a selfie with the dogs and Nat's parents out on a morning stroll. Merry Christmas, hope you're eating all the chili crab on my behalf. If you want to call for a bit later tonight, let me know. Oh. The heart symbol in the message makes your heart throb, and you try to tell yourself it had probably been an accident. Frequently used emojis and fat thumbs. There's also a message from Shay with the address of the show she's doing tonight as promised. Yo, heard from your mom that you're a musician too. If you come tonight, you could totally guest star. She's exactly the same through text as she is in real life. Flirty, irreverent, teasing. Text back and forth for a bit before your mother glares at you. Reluctantly, you put your phone away until after dinner. Once dinner winds down, you head out of the restaurant with your family. Nat and Shay's messages await your reply. Performance. I want to see this performance. You text Shay to tell her that you'll be there and make your way to the address she'd sent. At the live music venue. Ooh! You soon arrive at Fat Dog Brewery, the roadside burger place and live music venue where Shay and her band are performing. There's an open-air patio with high tables and fairy lights strung up along the sides. You spot Shay just as she's about to follow her bandmates up on stage. Hey, you made it. I love that jacket. That jacket is so cute. Shay flashes you a wide smile when she sees you. She's genuinely delighted, as though she hadn't been sure you'd actually come. She's about to say more when her bandmate yells impatiently from the stage. Oi! Flirt later! Gotta get this show started. Catch you in a bit. Enjoy the performance. Shay hops up the stairs and joins her bandmates. Cute! Oh my god. The space facing the stage is already packed with people. With some creative maneuvering, you manage to weave your way toward the front. Whoa, towards the front. The first song starts with a snazzy drum beat that explodes into a fast, rollicking melody. Grandma got run over by a reindeer. Oh my god, Grandma got run over by a reindeer. Na 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 na. That song is absolutely ridiculous. And honestly, you'd expect nothing less from Shay. By the time the chorus comes around, most of the crowd is snorting with laughter and clapping or singing along. After the silly upbeat opener, the band eases into a couple of original songs. Your gaze zeroes in on Shay as she effortlessly works her magic. You hadn't been sure what to expect when Shay had first asked you to come, but you're completely swept up by the music. Close to the end of the hour-long set, Shay's gaze picks you out among the crowd. I'd like to ask if a special guest would like to close out the night with us. A ripple of surprise oohs at this. Head swivel in all directions, curious. Shay shoots you a warm, playful smile, waiting for your answer. Yeah, fuck it, why not? Loud cheering from the crowd as you climb on stage. When Shay introduces you to the crowd, they go wild for you. Someone cups her mouth and shouts, I love you! Either a fan or a very drunk person. Shall we do borrow time? You nod, surprised that Shay knows it. Probably thanks to your mom, who tells everyone who will listen about your songs. This is an original song I wrote. It's about moments you wish could last forever. Once the audience quiets slightly, you give the signal to begin. You've performed this song to a crowd dozens of times before, but it still gives you a thrill each and every time. Shay's guitar weaves a soaring thread around your voice. Then, in the second verse, Shay steps closer to share the microphone and joins in, voice harmonizing with yours. There's a raw undercurrent of vulnerability in Shay's voice that feels so intimate that you find yourself holding your breath, unable to look away. The two of you trade the bridge back and forth, improvising a duet. Oh, I love this. This is so cute. You make instinctive adjustments, stretching some of the notes and shortening others, carving out space for Shay's voice and guitar just as she does for you. I love this because, like, when a musician really, like, meets another musician and, like, y'all are, like, really good at understanding music, being able to improv like this is so good. That's why I love jazz so much. There's always so much improv put into jazz. But I feel like there's such... As a singer, speaking from experience, like there is such a talent, and it's a very difficult skill to, like, learn too, to be able to, like, harmonize and improvise on the spot like this when it comes to singing and playing your instruments and whatnot. I love that. Because, like, adding that on top of how, like, romantic this is, it's, like, it's so cute. The string lights illuminate Shay's face as she sings, face inches from yours. Your eyes flicker shut and you let the music push you into dizzying freefall. The song sounds completely different from how you'd written it, but you like it this way. Two voices swirling around the deep, rich bones of drums and bass. My heart stirs in response. For a moment, there's only you and Shay and the electric pulse of music as it courses through your veins. Goosebumps rise up along your arms. The third verse, Shay lifts the melody unexpectedly, climbing instead of falling. A question. You shift the tempo of the fourth and final verse to reframe the first, the same chords, but reversed. An answer. I love this! Your voices lock on the last note of the song. Shay's molten gaze finds yours. The audience bursts into rapturous applause. You come up to stand beside Shay and her bandmates. Thank you! We are the 1 a.m. Lepak Band. Merry Christmas, everybody. After the performance, you sit down on a small stool next to Shay. You're all still sweaty and breathless, but vibrating with the familiar post-show adrenaline. That was amazing. You were incredible. Shay holds your gaze for a beat too long, acknowledging the moment of wordless, telepathic connection you both felt. You can still feel the echo of that last note lodged between your ribs. You introduce yourself to Shay's bandmates. I'm Kim Sang. Lice. Oh, hell yeah, makeup! Wait, I'm here for this. You blink, unsure if you'd heard the name correctly. It's 'cause I get it. It's 'cause I get in your hair, and once I'm in your life, I'm impossible to get rid of. You know what? I respect it. I respect it. Conversation between the four of you flows easily over drinks. Kim Sang is laid back and easygoing, and Lice is delightfully blunt. So, are you the neighbor who keeps yelling at Shay about muddy bike tracks? Shay laughs, shaking her head. No, the mom's the one who yells at me. You snort, elbowing Shay. Talk about my mom and not about me? Shay laughs. You jealous? Don't worry, Shay talks about you too. She made us watch all your YouTube music videos yesterday. Ooh. Ooh. Shay blinks, uncharacteristically nervous. Did we do the song justice? You nod, smiling as you recall how the song had been transformed. I loved it. We should record that version together. You didn't realize this was something you'd been missing, but tonight, playing music with Shay and her bandmates, you feel seen in a way you haven't in a long time. Spend time loafing around. Why are you guys called 1 a.m. Lepak Band? Lepak is the Malay word for chill or slack off, but maybe there's a story to the name. One night, about 2 years ago, Lice and I were performing at a bar in Bugis. That was before I was part of the band. They had a different drummer then. The amp blew. We were getting a lukewarm reaction from the crowd. At some point, some drunk man stands up and shouts, "Go sell insurance or something, losers!" Fast forward to after the performance, we head to a coffee shop and our drummer quits. Please, platform. She said, "We're just a bunch of friends who lepak and play music together. That's not a real job." You nod sympathetically. Your parents and extended family have expressed similar sentiments on more than one occasion. Obviously, she meant it negatively, but I overheard the conversation and thought it sounded like fun. Pulls up a chair next to us. We start talking and the 1 a.m. Lepak Band was born. She grins at you. You're welcome to join the band anytime. Lice and Kim Sang snort, and after a beat, you laugh too. I'll keep that in mind. At some point, after polishing off the drinks and food, the four of you join the throng of people dancing in front of the stage. Move a little closer. At some point, the two of you lose Kim Sang and Lice in the crowd. Can I take a screenshot of this? Wait, this is so cute. Shay steps closer, taking your hand. Is this okay? You nod, skin tingling just slightly from the contact. The two of you dance till your heads spinning in a whirl of color and sound. When the singer croons something about tropical Christmas, kisses on a beach under palm fronds, Shay's gaze shifts down to your lips and she makes no move to hide it. Yes! Duh! We're single, we're mingling. Maybe it's the alcohol, maybe it's the atmosphere, the way Shay's looking at you. Whatever it is, the kiss sends electricity shooting down your spine all the way to your toes. Around you, everyone else melts away in a blur of motion. When you finally pull back, Shay continues to rest her forehead on yours for a while longer, tracing a thumb slowly along your lower lip. I've wanted to do that since the moment we met. Oh my god. Was it what you imagined? That and more. As the song winds to a close, you rejoin Shay's bandmates at the table. You catch Lys and Kim Sang looking at you curiously, but at your self-conscious expression, Lys rolls her eyes and waves a hand at you. Don't worry, nothing I haven't seen before. Shay laughs, shaking her head. You guys are the worst wingmen ever. The three of them devolve into a good-natured bickering. Eventually, you decide to call it a night. It's getting late and the venue has begun to empty out. Head home. Do you head home together on the motorcycle? Stop. Stop. This is the perfect Christmas night. Like, what? Instead of taking a taxi back, you accepted a ride back from Shay on her motorbike. Cool wind buffets your face and the engine thrums beneath you. You're beginning to relax, taking in the Christmas lights when the bike suddenly sails over a speed bump. You get a millisecond of airtime before hitting the ground again, nearly crashing into Shay's back. Shay laughs but doesn't take her eyes off the road. You can hold on to me if you want. Are you sure I won't be distracting? Oh yeah. Shay leans back slightly so you can feel her warm body against yours. You rest your chin on her shoulder. Enjoying the ride? So much I'm considering getting myself a motorbike. Shay chuckles. At the next stoplight, she looks over at you, dark eyes sparkling. In the meantime, I'd be happy to take you on as many joyrides as you want. Shay makes another wide turn. The swooping sensation makes your pulse race, and your grip around Shay's waist tightens just a little. My aunt used to fetch me around on her motorbike as a kid. She'd call it eating air. As the bike flies along the nearly empty roads, you taste the crisp night air on your tongue. You can see why she called it that. The ride is almost too short, but before you know it, Shay pulls up in the car park of your apartment block. Shay pauses. I had a really nice time tonight. She looks hopefully at you. Want to come over to my place? So, like, obviously. Shay's eyes light up in genuine excitement. She takes your hand and the two of you walk toward the lift lobby where you'd first met. Oh my god, the room is so cute. Shay leads you into her bedroom, flicking on the lights. It's been a long time since you felt this thrumming, pulsing electricity with someone other than Nat. You push aside this thought and look around the room. It's crowded with all sorts of posters and, as expected, plants of various shapes and sizes. There's a guitar hanging on the wall and even an old vinyl record player on a side table. If you're wondering, I've recently installed some soundproofing so the neighbors don't complain about the jamming sessions. Occasionally, it comes in handy for other activities too. I love her! You snort, punching her in the arm. Shay laughs and puts a cantopop record on. A smoky velvet baritone fills the room. So, like, obviously we know where we're going with this. We gotta put that soundproofing to good use. Gotta test it out and make sure it works, right? I love how Courtney just says, bed. Yes. We're walking over to the... Oh! You press a hand to Shay's chest, walking her toward the bed. When the back of her knees hit the bed, she grins, cornered. Kiss me. Ah! Ah! Blood pools at your gut. You don't need to be asked twice. This time, the kiss is open-mouthed, hungry, and a little sloppy. Taste the gin and lime on Shay's lips. Ah! Every last shred of your caution falls away in a haze of desire. Shay's hand slides down your body to your hips, then pauses at the hem of your shirt. She breaks away long enough to look at you, eyes hooded. May I? Okay. Okay, consent. I know, me too. I'm literally just like, ugh. You nod, letting out a soft huff of breath when Shay strips off your shirt. Her clothes join yours in a heap by the bed. Shay tips you over onto the bed, and things progress very quickly after that. A while later. Gradually, the two of you come down from your highs, breaths evening out. Your body still tingles with residual pleasure, completely loose and boneless. Shay lends you a fresh set of clothes, and the two of you settle back into bed next to each other. Shay rests a head on your shoulder, smiling. You know, I was expecting you to be good, but that was a tad better than good. A tad? Damn. You laugh, arching a playful eyebrow. Tad better than good? Sounded like a lot better more than a couple minutes ago. Shay laughs and wraps an arm around you, scooting closer. She traces her fingers along your body, mapping its contours. Leslie Twang's voice floats through the room, ethereal and wistful. Shay is so close that you could feel the warmth from her skin. I very much like it if you stayed overnight. The thing is, our mother, and we should go. I don't want to get an Asian parent mad. We should go. We should go. No, I really should go now. Shay nods, gaze lingering on your face. Shay nods and she changes tracks slightly. There's a boxing gym I go to in Geylang. Do you want to come with me? You could have dinner after. You raise an eyebrow and Shay laughs. I know, it sounds like I'm suggesting it so I can beat you up, but it'll be fun, I promise. Even lice think so, and they hate exercise. Sure, why not? First, you steal my lift. Now you drag me somewhere to beat me up. But your tone is teasing, and Shay's eyes sparkle. You won't regret it. The next morning, you wake up to sunlight streaming in from the window, still sleep-muddled. You must have forgotten to close the curtains last night. A quick glance at your phone tells you it's only 7:30 a.m. You're still jet-lagged, but fortunately, you'd been tired enough to sleep through the night. I know, right? It's so pretty. Turn around and try to go back to sleep, but your thoughts keep drifting back to last night with Shay. Ooh, why would we regret it? I enjoyed myself. Damn. You no longer believe in love at first sight or soulmates, but you can't deny how quickly you've been drawn to Shay. You like the way she makes you laugh, the weight she eased in your heart. You hadn't felt so comfortable with anyone but Nat in a long time. Last night's intimacy had felt new and unfamiliar, and maybe you needed that. After breakfast. To appease your mother after your disappearance last night, you spend most of the day with your family. That afternoon, the four of you play Mahjong. The Christmas presents from your extended family is stacked in a pile between you. Winner takes all. To nobody's surprise, your mother ends up winning by a big margin. As a result, she's in such a good mood that she doesn't even complain that much when you tell her you're eating out with your old junior college friends. When evening rolls around, you meet Junie by the river as promised. So we've played part of this now. She pulls you into a bone-crushing hug, thumping you on the back as though executing the Heimlich maneuver. People are going to be so excited to see you. It's been years. The two of you stroll along the river to the restaurant where you'll be meeting the rest of your classmates. Hey, maybe this is the day you and Shu finally get over the bad blood between you. You've never actually told her what went down all those years ago, even though you suspect Junie guesses some part of it. I don't think we ever found out about it either. 7 years ago. Are we gonna find out about it now? In the months leading up to the national examinations at the end of junior college, Shu and you spend most of your waking hours after school studying together. Amidst the whirlwind of classes, mock exams, and college applications, you and Shu fall even more in love. One afternoon, the two of you head to the library after class, but the air conditioning isn't working. Your brother had invited some friends over, so your house is out. I guess we can go to my place. My mom's out with a friend today. She'll be back late. You brighten. Shu hasn't invited you over in weeks because her parents are going through a rough patch, and she's been spending as little time as possible at home. All you know is that Shu's mom had found out about her dad cheating. Shu never wants to talk about it, which is very fair. Men. Sure, I'll come. Can we make dumplings for dinner together after? As far as you're concerned, that recipe's the only worthwhile thing Shu ever inherited from her mother. I swear it's the only reason why you continue to hang out with me. Among other things. Slip your hand into Shu's, fingers lacing together as you head toward the bus stop. So, not the huge wedding portrait. Huge wedding portrait. Okay. You settle down next to Shu at her dining table. Two of you work mostly in companionable silence. You're finishing up a chemistry assignment and Shu is doing a literature mock paper. For 2 hours, your attention slowly begins to wander. Shu looks up, narrowing her eyes at you. I can feel your gaze from here. She looks up at you, lips curling into a crooked smile. You promise not to be distracting. You're the one being distracting. You see Shu's throat bob up and down as she swallows, gaze growing thick. I've still got 5 more minutes on my practice test. When you move a little closer, thigh pressing against Shu's, you see a small flicker of desire dance across her features in response. We lean in and kiss. Shu makes a small noise and kisses you back hungrily. Her hand comes up to grip your jaw and all the blood pools in your gut. Oh no! Oh no! Wait, oh no, wait, oh no! Shu's mom appears at the threshold of the living room and you hadn't heard her come in. Judging by her horrified expression, she has definitely seen everything. Shu hastily lets go of you and steps back. She tries to school her expression into something fairly neutral, but you know her well enough to see the panic in her dark eyes. Shit. There's a long and terrible silence. The thump, thump, thump of your heartbeat is the only unreliable measure of time you have. Shu doesn't tear her eyes from her mother, and an entire conversation seems to be had in your presence, except you have no idea what's being said. Finally, Shu's mom rounds on you. Here we go. Here we go. I knew there was something wrong with you. No, it's not what you think. We'll never know what Shu had intended to say because Shu's mother cuts her off. She holds nothing back. Aw, shit. The Mandarin words come at you, sharp and fast like throwing knives. In English, Mrs. Lin has always been hard and derisive. But in Mandarin, she is a force to behold, a typhoon sweeping and tempestuous. You think this is love? Beneath the surface of fear, you see a pang of fear and repulsion on her face that makes your gut twist. She was not like you. One day, she will wake up one day and see this is for what it is. A perversion. She spits the last sentence out at you. The words wedge like barbs in your heart, sinking deep into soft flesh, slicing all the way through. So ball my fist and launch a fierce defense of my relationship with Shu. Also, I feel like I've been changing. Is it Chew? Choose? Tree? Chew? Fuck, what was it again? Now I'm second guessing it. Hold on. Now I'm second guessing this again. I'm saying it a lot and I really want to make sure I'm pronouncing this correctly. Hold on.
Chew.
Chew. Okay, so I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm still saying it right. Chew. So ball my fist and launch a fierce defense in my relationship with Chew. Take a shaky breath and tell her how I genuinely feel about Chew. We'll go straight for the jugular. That's rich. You are lecturing me about love. I don't want to do that because that's disrespectful. And I feel like that's only gonna make matters worse if I am disrespectful. Yes, Courtney, can you slap her for all of us? That would be great. I'm gonna say tell her how I genuinely feel about you. We're gonna do that. You know this woman deserves nothing of your honesty, and yet you give it anyway. For Chew, partially, but mostly for yourself. The words well up from deep inside of you, and flows through your veins, spilling out of your mouth before you can stop them. You've never had to use Mandarin for anything other than writing academic essays before, but you try your best to find the right words. For the deep, intangible feeling of peace you feel when you're with Chew. For the warmth that fills your chest when you first see Chew walking around the corridor in the morning. I get it. You want what's best for her, but I do too. Finally, you tear a gaze from Chew's mother to look directly at Chew. Chew's gaze is raw and too tender. You're still presumably speaking to Chew's mother, but the words are meant for her. Maybe you're right. Maybe we're not meant for each other. Maybe we're not meant to last, but maybe this is just two teenagers being stupid. But I want to give it a shot. For a moment, it seems neither Chew nor her mother have any answers to this. Then Mrs. Lin snaps at you. That's enough! You can tell her words have rattled Chew's mother to the core. The hollowness in her tone hits you harder than the rage that had preceded it. Don't lecture me about what love looks like. Her voice trembles slightly, which is the first sign of weakness you'd seen from her. Oops. That's not what I wanted. I know about mistakes disguised as love, and believe me, I do not wish that on Chew, nor on you. She picks your bag up from the ground and hands it to you. Go. This is the last I want to see or hear of you. Damn. Damn, we shouldn't have made out. Her mom wouldn't have found us. Through it all, Chew says nothing, just stares at you, dark eyes swirling. This, more than anything else, is what breaks your heart. You bite down so hard onto your lower lip that you taste the metallic taste of blood. After that day, thanks for saying what you did. You know she won't change her mind, though. I didn't say those things for her. I said them for you. Chew simply stares at you, warmth and regret wearing in her eyes. You realize that for as long as the specter of Chew's parents' pride and their expectations hang over her like a noose, Chew will never be happy. And you'll always be collateral damage. Damn. Damn. We gotta get some games in? We do. I gotta find the time. I'm so busy the rest of this month, but I gotta find the time. Hi, Shining. Hi. How are you? How you be? This is my third session. I'm just trying to make it to the top this time. You got this. I believe in you. You got this, Panda. This realization turns into a cold, hard pebble in your gut. You shake your head, staring straight into Chew's eyes. In the span of a few wordless minutes, something inside of you wilts and turns to ash. Chew catches your arm, voice breaking. Don't make me choose between you and everything else. I can't. Your heart, made brittle by everything that had happened yesterday, finally shatters completely. I'm not the one making this an either-or situation. Don't pin this on me. Chew's face is wan, making the dark circles more obvious. Had she gotten any sleep last night? Well, just not hang out in my house. I'll tell my parents I'm sitting outside alone. Nothing has to change. An easy fix. As long as you stay within the clean lines of Chew's boundaries and never ask for more, Chew would pretend the problem doesn't exist. No, if that's all I ever have, I'd rather walk away now. Also, Umbrata, that's fair. I'll let it happen this one time. Wait, okay. God, after everything the mom said, though, like, I wouldn't blame the MC for being like, well, no. And it's not so much that if this is all I'll ever have, it's also the, like, if this is how it's gonna be, and we have to tiptoe around everything, and we can't truly be free and happy, I don't know if I want that. You know? But I also understand that, like, fuck it. No. No. I'd rather walk away. That's heartbreaking. And that's a really hard decision to make. You know it's over. There's no going back after this. The damage is done. In place of the heady, giddy feeling of falling in love, being in love, there's only the hollow, gnawing feeling of betrayal. Now it's about your grades. Next, it'll be your career. But underneath it all, there'll always be the chokehold of your parents, their expectations of what your life should look like. You'll have to pick, and I'll be the one that gets dropped. There's a long silence. If Chu had said something then, anything to refute this, you might have not walked away. That too. Like, I understand why Chu didn't say anything, but also Chu didn't say anything. But she doesn't. So you turn, and you don't look back. Damn. We didn't have this context the last time that we played this game. So that is a lot. That sucks. I'm curious then how the context is different if I wasn't playing as a female character and all the love interests are also female. So I'm curious, just because we did random and this is just how it panned out, I'm curious how then what would it have been similar, just minus the homophobia of it, where like the mom is like, you need to focus on your studies, and maybe she just doesn't like us. I'm curious. I love that. That's funny. I know, I also like how much lore we're getting too. Can you imagine we're getting a new BRB screen next month? Have I started editing it? No. It's gonna happen. When? Can't tell you. Sometime this next month though. It'll happen. I'm sure. I'll figure it out. The next few days morph into weeks. You still see Chu in class and sometimes after school, but you barely talk to each other. The haunted look in Chu's eyes never goes away. You stop dreaming about the future you could have shared with Chu. Instead, you pour all your energy into studying, just to fill the hole in your heart that had once been reserved for Chu. Nothing feels the same, but you lie to yourself that that if you can just make it through the exams, earn your ticket out of Singapore, you'll leave all the pain behind. Soon, classes come to an end, you take your exams and leave the rest up to fate. In the end, you get a full scholarship to NYU and you hear that Chu's headed to the best law program in the country. Once you might have hesitated at the thought of accepting an offer that would bring you halfway around the world for 4 years, but those days are long gone, or long over. You would submit your official acceptance to NYU, eager to reinvent yourself in a new city. It's the last you see of Chu. Back to the present. Until now! 26th of December, you and Junie have both stopped walking. Junie had listened to the entire story without interrupting, but now... Why are people driving so recklessly in a neighborhood where everyone's parking on the street? Like, I need you to chill. Damn. The things you hear now that I have the windows open. Junie had listened to the entire story without interrupting, but now she rests a hand on your shoulder and squeezes. Damn. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. Chiu told me some of it, but I hadn't realized it was so bad. Junie pulls you into a hug and you let yourself relax into the embrace. You do feel a little lighter now that you've told Junie about what had happened. You gonna be okay later if Chiu shows up? Junie jerks a thumb the way you'd come. Because if you'd like to bail, I know the best Burmese place down the way. You wave a hand at Junie. I'll be fine. The restaurant is all sleek, black and white lines and dark mahogany. The space thrums with Christmas Eve energy, clinking glasses, bursts of laughter, murmur of low conversation. You scan the sleek interior until you spot familiar faces at a corner booth. Tech, your classmate and Junie's boyfriend, gives you both an enthusiastic wave and dashes over, pulling both you and Junie into a bear hug. You're headed toward the table with the two of them when the door swings open again. Something, instinct perhaps, or maybe just bad timing, makes you turn to look. Okay, Chiu. Chiu stands silhouetted in the doorway. The smile on your face freezes in place. Time slows. Chiu's eyes meets yours and all the air whooshes out of your lungs. Her dark gaze is exactly how you remember it. Turbulent, depthless, and frustratingly unreadable. You let your eyes trace the hard, angular structure of her cheekbones and jaw down to her tailored shirt and pants. It all speaks subtly of success and power and prestige, all the things Chiu's parents had always wished for. No, expected of her. You hear she's a public prosecutor now, and she certainly looks like the sort of person you wouldn't want to go up against in court. And yet, in the subtle softening of her eyes as she holds your gaze, you see traces of the Chiu you once knew. There's a hollow ache in your chest. Slowly, Chiu lifts her chin and her lips curl up into a wry, almost cryptic smile. I was starting to think I'd never see you again. I don't want to say either of these two because, like, that's a lot. We gotta be cool. We gotta be cool, guys. Me too, I say coolly. It's been a while. Emotions surge beneath your placid surface as you stare at Chiu, the first person you'd fallen in love with and the first person to break your heart. But you surprise yourself by giving absolutely nothing away. When you respond, your gaze is level. Me too. It's been a while. Your tone is cool. You're determined to not give Chiu the satisfaction of knowing the effect she still has on you. Chiu presses her lips together and you see a vein in her neck pulse. Chiu pushes a strand of hair out of her eyes. You recognize the tick. She does it when she's nervous or uncertain, and there'd been a time you'd found it impossibly endearing. After chatting for a while, Chiu's gaze slides to the table where your classmates are seated, watching the two of you with undisguised curiosity. She tilts a chin to the back exit. Can we talk outside for a bit? Should we use humor as a shield? Sounds like the start of a murder mystery. Yeah. You're beginning to panic, so you reach for humor as a coping mechanism. Sounds like the start of every murder mystery. Chiu laughs, shaking her head. I promise I don't plan on killing you. So, no promises that you won't do it accidentally? Chiu cracks a smile at this. Okay, promise I won't do it accidentally either. You wave a hand in front of you, trying to hide how your heart rate's beginning to quicken. Alright then, lead the way. You follow Chiu out the back door of the restaurant into the alley. The door swings shut behind you, shutting off the noise. The alley is almost empty, save for several lonely pigeons pecking the ground for invisible food scraps. A crescent moon hangs like a silver comma between the rooftops of old shop houses. The back doors are flanked by a motley arrangement of dented garbage bins, air conditioning compressor units, and plastic chairs well worn from countless smoke breaks. For a while, the two of you stare each other down without speaking. Once, almost 10,000 miles of sea had stood between you and the past that you'd fought so hard to leave behind. Now, Chu's standing so close you can smell the familiar scent of her soap. True to character, she hasn't changed it even after all these years. You step back, trying to render her proximity less overpowering. You don't want to be reminded of sweeter times, simpler times. Times when touching Chu, loving Chu, had been as natural as breathing. Okay, we're outside. The ice cream truck is outside. I don't know if y'all can hear it. It always plays nursery rhymes, Christmas songs, Disney songs. And it's always this late at night, which is crazy. I can see the levels of my microphone moving. I know. I'm sure y'all can hear something. I don't know. But it's loud. I'm sure when I talk, you can probably hear it. I need it to stop. It's like literally right outside. There are children out there too. I'm waiting for it to stop so I can continue reading. I don't want it to like ruin the reading, you know? I think it stopped. I'm pretty sure it stopped. But what do you want to say? Chu takes a deep breath and something shifts in her expression. Whatever had remained of her hard exterior crumbles to dust in front of you. I wanted to apologize for the way things ended. Her heart drops to the pit of your stomach. Your heart drops to the pit of your stomach. I assumed you'd always be in my life. I was 18 and stupid, and Chu keeps going. Words come out rough and unpracticed. I thought I could do what my parents wanted. I achieved everything on their list, ticked them off one by one. It didn't make me feel anything. Chu sucks in a breath, then chokes out the words. I thought I could come back for the things that actually made me happy afterwards. But by then, you were already gone. You think of that afternoon in Chu's house. Everything that Chu's mother had said and everything that Chu had not. You look at Chu for a long moment without saying anything, palms sweating in the humid night air. I never stopped wondering if things might have turned out differently if I had said something then, if I'd asked you to stay all those years ago. My heart flutters. Why are you telling me all this now? My throat closes up in anger. No, you don't get to do this. Shake my head coldly. You made your decision. I made mine. Now we live with it. I don't like the last one. Oh. How do I want to play this? I would be... If I were in this situation, I would definitely be caught off guard. Regardless of whether or not I feel like I've moved on, it's a lot of emotions to take in, and that's so valid, right? Even if, like, hypothetically, we were still with Nat, this is still a lot to take in. So I feel like either of the first two choices are such valid responses. However, I feel like the second option, as much as I do like it as an option for dialogue, I feel like it might kind of like cut the interaction short, and I don't want to do that. So why are you telling me all this now? She's making you feel things you're not sure you want to feel. You wave a hand at the tailored suit and carefully styled hair, the accumulated evidence of how much your lives had diverged. You squeeze your eyes shut, feeling the cold wound split open, your voice rawer than you'd expected. You fight for every goddamn thing in your life, but you never fought for me. Oh, damn. So let me. You are like 8 years late, my dude. Like, cause like Chu never even reached out either. So like, what? Chu looks down at your hands and back at you. When Junie told me you'd be here today, I knew I had to try to talk to you this time at least. You sigh. Also, there are several times we've visited home, and Chu has never tried to reach out. Granted, we don't know if Chu knew, maybe, but still, you know? So, like, why now? You sigh. So many things have not changed. Her intent gaze, the determined set of her jaw, the way she still makes you feel like you're the only person in the world. And yet, there are so many other things that will never be the same. Years that you've lost and never would get back. I'm not asking to turn back the clock, just lunch this week. That's all it has to be. Okay. If anything, I think it will be good to at least be able to talk it out, clear the air, communicate, and find some sort of common ground, even if an understanding, and form a friendship if possible, even if like a relationship doesn't pick back up kind of thing, you know? I think having that proper closure or clarity would be good. So yeah, why not? Lunch. This is exactly what you dreamed of once. If this had happened years ago, you would have said yes in a heartbeat. Now, you're wary. But even against your better judgment, you find yourself nodding before your logical mind has time to protest. Chu's entire face lights up, pulling old sensations out of you with that smile. The hairs on your arms prickle out the warmth that blooms in your chest in response. The pigeons continue pecking at the ground. The moon hasn't moved an inch, but inside of you, something shifts. Back at home. That night, when you return home, you realize that everyone's been asking you the same question. Are you staying this time? Chu had asked it first, before you'd left for New York, then nearly a decade later. Nat, on a hot afternoon at the beach, then a snowy street in New York. Shay, as you dance with her in a throng of people. For years, you've been living in the space between cities, between a past that you can't forget and a future that's just out of reach. Tomorrow, you'll wake up in your childhood bedroom with 4 days left in Singapore before the new year. As you walk from the car park to your apartment, you wonder what it would take to finally arrive at an answer to that question. I loved what was added to this demo. I feel like the previous demo, we really like dipped a toe in the water of kind of getting a feel for the characters, but this really sets up the rest of the game. This catches my attention even more. These were such great additions that were added. We got any questions that we had were answered, and I liked that we got just like so much more clarity on the past to then be able to figure out the decisions she'll make within the next 4 days. I liked this a lot. Okay, at this point too, I don't even know. It is between Chu and Shay. I don't even know who I'd want to romance. I feel like it's Shay because like Shay's fun, but like I want to like understand I feel like... Look at me, not even finishing a sentence. I feel like out of this demo, I've gotten so much more interested in Chiu. Like, I'd play Chiu's route first just so I can get more just context. And I just want to know. But Shay's route would be so fun. I don't know, man. I love it. I'm here for it. Oh, I'm so glad we played this. Based on your choices in this playthrough, these scenes will be available in the full game. Catch up with Chiu over lunch. Go boxing with Shay and have dinner after. Have a follow-up conversation with your mother about what she said in the kitchen. And many more scenes. Different choices might unlock other scenes and other playthroughs. To convince Nat to come to Singapore! Oh, shit. Full game releases in winter! Yes! I need it.